I just realized that I've talked a lot about language learning and, you know, given some lessons, and here and there I talk about where I'm from, but I haven't told you that much. And someone asked, you know, can you tell us about your life and like what you've worked as? And I think maybe it may be interesting after 2.5 years to tell you a little bit more about myself. And yeah, I hope this is interesting, and looking forward to your comments. So well, yeah, I grew up in a small town near Barcelona. I always say it's not that near. It's like 1.5 hours. And it's not on the seaside, unfortunately, because I really love the seaside. But I am a big fan of my hometown, actually. I really like being there. It's so calm, and I have still lots of friends and family there. So it's really nice to go there. Really like it. When growing up, I was very passionate about sports. I was playing basketball for most of my youth, actually, and was actually planning to pursue a career in sports, like studying sports, and my dream was to become a personal trainer. Yeah, and right now I should be exercising more because I've abandoned a little bit that passion of mine somehow throughout the years. And but when choosing what I was gonna do with my life, I somehow felt like I was gonna study because I didn't know what else I could do really after school. And so I was like, oh, I was actually, you know, getting ready for these physical tests, which are pretty difficult to get into university. You gotta be, you know, very good at swimming, jumping, running, and whatever. I was okay and good at some of the tests, but the swimming test was hard because I am an okay swimmer, but I'm not like a very good swimmer, and you had to be very fast. So I was, you know, measuring my speed every week and trying to get faster, and it was frustrating in some moments, and some others were really rewarding. But the funny thing is, once I reached all the measurements I needed to reach, you know, I was like, well, I'm gonna probably pass the test. At least, you know, when trying, I'm passing the test. Like when you do the live test, maybe it's different, but let's see. And then I somehow realized that I had taken the decision long ago, and that I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to spend my whole life doing something related to sports. And I remember taking one of those pamphlets and seeing, what can I do with my life? What can I do with my life? And then I remembered that I liked English and that I also learned some French at school. And I also really liked that the university I chose was forcing you to go abroad. Because I felt like if it was just me in the whole university, in the whole class that was gonna go abroad, I would not do it. And so I felt like, well, that's great that they're forcing you, you know, they're forcing the whole class to go abroad for I think it was the 3rd year. So that was why I decided to study translation and interpretation, and interpreting, actually, I think it's called, yeah. And I took English and French, so I was translating from English and French to Spanish and Catalan. The studies were not that difficult for me because they were very practical. I'm not a very theoretical person, so I really liked that. Then I added the linguistics part to it, and that was also okay because I was very interested in general in linguistics, but my least favorite subjects were phonetics. I didn't like that, never liked it, somehow. Yeah, sorry. And programming. There were some programming studies, like courses involved, and I was very bad at them. Very bad at them. I'm not such a technical person. But I somehow passed, so that was fine. And after my studies, well, during my studies, I spent a semester in Brisbane, Australia. I was 19 back then, a long time ago. It was pretty cool, actually. I really enjoyed it. It was an awesome experience. Somehow the first time, you know, being on my own, and yeah, lots of learnings. Maybe if you find it interesting, I can tell you more about that in another video. I don't want this to get too long. After my studies, I had applied for a grant. I think it's called a grant. Stipendium in German, beca in Spanish. And so I was language assistant at a school in Hamburg. And there, really, I had a dream life because I, had finished my studies, and it had taken a lot of energy. I mean, it wasn't difficult, but still it was a lot. And I was doing also some online studies at the time, so it was a lot. And then, yeah, just working 9 hours a week, 3 hours per day, 3 days, was something new to me, and it wasn't a difficult job, at least at the school I was at, and it was really cool. And then I was even, working, looking for some private, like giving some private classes on top because I was even bored. And yeah, meeting a lot of people, having a lot of new experiences. It was really cool in Hamburg. I really liked it, but I think I liked it also because I had a lot of free time. I think I've never had so much free time in my whole life. It was liberating, really cool. Yeah, after that year, I enrolled, well, I got a grant again for a so-called Erasmus Mundus program for a master's degree. So I was getting, let's say, some financial aid for doing my master's, which I thought was pretty cool. And it was a master's in teaching Spanish. And yeah, I did that. The first semester was in Bilbao. So I lived 4 months in Bilbao, which was really nice. I unfortunately didn't learn any Basque, which I regret to this day, but I was also very busy. And I wasn't a couch polyglot yet. If I would go now, I think it would be different, but back then, yeah, I needed to focus on my studies. And yeah, the second semester was in Barcelona, which was convenient because yeah, I have a lot of friends there, etc. And then the second year was in Berlin, which was also very convenient because I already spoke pretty good German. Yeah, and yeah, after my studies, I actually worked as a teacher, as a lecturer for Catalan in a German university for 2 years, which was also a great experience. I was working part-time, and I was really asking myself what I wanted to do with my life. Like, do I want to be a teacher full-time, or what should I do with my life? Should I, pursue a PhD or something? But yeah, I somehow decided not to, and I wanted to try out to work at a company, which is what I'm doing now. But by then I started working in a sort of customer service position. It was not directly, let's say, a hotline or something, but it was very demanding, and I felt very overwhelmed. I don't know. I didn't think that was for me anyway. And after a year, I started working at order management in an international environment, which is something that fits me more because I'm interested in business, and it was a multilingual position, which is something I love, getting to speak to many people in different languages. And it's, I like speaking to people. Also speaking to the camera is fun. And yeah, at some point I got to be a team lead, which is also what I'm doing right now. Some people think I'm working on YouTube. This is just a hobby, but it's a nice thing. Like right now I'm working actually 4 days, and I have more time for the channel and for other hobbies. So that's something I really appreciate. And yeah, that's we arrived at now. COVID was hard for me. I think it was hard for everyone. I am a very outgoing person, and very, I don't know, like I feel trapped at home if I cannot leave. And that's why I started my YouTube channel. Anyway, I hope you like this, and you can support me on Ko-Fi, on Patreon, or yeah, just leave a like, leave a comment. Sharing is always nice. And yeah, looking forward to your comments. Bye bye.